Hey, this is David Miller with the Miller Group of Keller Williams Realty. I'm here to help you get real estate smart. All right, let's jump right into it. Renting versus buying. Boy, there's a lot of discussions out there about which one is the best thing to do. I want to really focus on which one of those is going to allow you to build wealth for yourself and your family in the future. Now let's talk about renting. There are some distinct benefits of renting. You don't have to put a huge down payment down to rent. You typically put about 2 months worth of of a deposit down that allows you to get into a rental property. When you have something that breaks, you don't have to fix it. You just call your landlord and they can fix it for you. From a cost perspective, as well as not putting down a huge down payment, you're not responsible for the home insurance that a typical homeowner has to pay. You're not responsible for the homeowners association fees. All that is wrapped up in there. The best thing about renting is that you are able to have flexibility that if you change jobs, you don't have to worry about selling a house and buying a new house. So it definitely gives you that flexibility. However, does it allow you to build equity? It can if you are very disciplined with your money, meaning that the money you would have spent on buying a house and down payment and all those other things, you invested into the stock market or bonds and stuff like that. Unfortunately, that typically doesn't happen. Now, the benefits of home ownership is that it's sort of like forced savings. If you think about your mortgage, it's a 30-year mortgage, and that is based off of an interest rate. Now, interest rates are high. Now, interest rates don't last forever. You don't have to keep that interest rate for 30 years. You can refinance when the market drops, which a ton of people did back during COVID when the interest rates were so low. However, that monthly rate is stable throughout the entire term compared to a rental property. When you have a rental property, your rent goes up every year. And during COVID, it went up like crazy, like 30 or 40%. You can't control that. So when you get something now, I guarantee in 10 years, you're looking at what you're paying in mortgage. And when you first bought the house, you're like, wow, that's a lot of money. But because of inflation, it's not going to seem like a lot and it's going to help you. So as I mentioned, home ownership really gives you forced savings because you're paying every mortgage payment you make is going towards your equity. Over time, real estate appreciates on average about 4% per year. So within 10 years, depending on where you are, you should be able to double what your house was worth before. So that's great. Now I'm going to throw up a chart right here that might just blow your mind. And what it shows is that it's the difference between renting and buying. It's a $500,000 property. And on the left-hand side, it has a rental. And it's $22.71 per month is the rent. And on the buy side, you put down $100,000, which is going to be 20% down, which you don't need to put 20% down if you're buying, if it's your primary residence. You can put 3.5% down. And the monthly mortgage is $22.71. So that matches exactly what the rental is. So this shows in year one, the money spent for a renter is going to be a lot less because they don't have to put that big down payment. They spent $27,252 and they had zero equity. On the buy side, you had to spend $127,000. It appreciated 20%. So your equity at the end of the day was $125,388. Now, this assumes that your rent increases 3% per year. That's the average. This also assumes on the buy side that your house appreciates about 4% per year. Look at it after 10 years. After 10 years, you've already spent on the rent side $273,363. And on the buy side, you spent more. However, you have equity of $410,000. Go all the way down to 30 years. 30 years, that money you put up front, $127,252 turns into $1.6 million. And if you look on the rent side, that's $0. Remember, if you are disciplined as a renter and you reinvest that money in the stock market and bonds and those type of things, then you could probably do this. But the fact of the matter, most people are not that disciplined to do that. So if you are renting right now and you're thinking about buying, it's best to get in sooner than later. Yes, the interest rates are high, but as I mentioned before, you can refinance that. What's going to continue to go up is the home pricing. So if you are able to buy now, let's think about how much money would you need to buy now? The average price in Orlando is about $375,000. So you can get an FHA loan for 3.5%. And if you factor in for inspections and stuff, you probably need around $15,000 to buy a house right now. But as you saw from the chart I showed you before, that is going to allow you to start building equity, and that's what you're wanting to do. If you are a first-time home buyer, we're actually doing a first-time home buyer workshop on February 7th at 6 p.m. I have information below. You can take a look at it. If it's something you're interested in, we would love to see you there. And I hope that you are now real estate smart.